Once upon a time, in the mystical realm of Etherealica, a world of magic and wonder, an ancient prophecy began to unfold. A looming threat, known as the Shadow Coven, sought to unleash chaos and darkness upon the land. To counter this impending doom, destiny called upon a group of unlikely heroes, each possessing unique talents that held the key to salvation. In a small village nestled amidst the tranquil enchanted forest, lived Melody, a young bard with a voice that could weave spells and stir the hearts of all who heard her. Next was Orion, a skilled archer with a mysterious past, renowned for his unparalleled precision. Alongside them was Nimble, a mischievous and agile thief with a penchant for unlocking even the most complex of locks. Lastly, there was Alara, a wise and powerful sorceress, her knowledge of ancient spells matched only by her kindness and compassion. Guided by the wise sage Eldarius, the group embarked on a perilous quest to retrieve 4 enchanted artifacts scattered across Etherealica. These artifacts, when united, would grant them the power to banish the Shadow Coven and restore peace to their world. Their journey took them through treacherous mountains, across vast deserts, and into the heart of forbidden forests. Along the way, they encountered mythical creatures, encountered powerful enchantments, and faced their deepest fears. Yet they pressed on, fueled by their unwavering determination and the belief that their combined strength could overcome any obstacle. During their travels, Melody's ethereal voice soothed raging beasts and tamed wild spirits. Her songs became a beacon of hope, inspiring not only her companions but also the weary souls they encountered. Orion's unmatched accuracy felled enemies with precision, his arrows finding their marks even in the darkest of nights. Nimble's nimble fingers opened ancient locks and bypassed intricate traps, uncovering hidden passages and ancient knowledge. Alara's arcane mastery shielded them from malevolent spells and mended wounds, her magic a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As they collected the artifacts, the heroes discovered that their true power lay not just in the objects themselves, but in the bonds they forged along their journey. Each challenge they overcame tested their mettle and deepened their trust in one another. The unlikely quartet had become an unbreakable team, a symphony of unique talents harmonizing to perfection. In the final confrontation with the Shadow Coven, the heroes stood united, facing a maelstrom of darkness. The artifacts gleamed with an otherworldly light, infusing them with unimaginable power. Melody's voice resonated through the air, dispelling the shadows with its purity. Orion's arrows struck true, piercing the hearts of the Coven's minions. Nimble's nimble fingers snatched away their sources of power, leaving them defenseless. Alara's incantations intertwined with the elements, creating a shield that protected them from the Coven's malevolence. With each passing moment, the heroes grew stronger, their resolve unyielding. The battle raged on, and through their unwavering unity, they chipped away at the Coven's strength until the final blow was struck. The world trembled as darkness dissipated, and a newfound dawn of light and hope embraced Etherealica once more. As the dust settled, the heroes basked in their triumph, knowing that their bond had saved their world. They returned to their village as legends, forever cherished in the hearts of the people. Their tale became a symphony of salvation, a reminder that bravery, unity, and the belief in the extraordinary power of ordinary souls can overcome even the greatest of threats. And so the legends of Melody, Orion, Nimble, and Alara lived on, inspiring generations to come. Their names whispered in the wind, forever etched in the annals of Etherealica's history, reminding all who heard their story that in the face of darkness, heroes can emerge from the most unlikely of places. In a world hushed by snow-covered mountains, lived a man named Ethan and his girlfriend, Emma. They yearned for adventure and decided to escape to a remote cabin nestled in the heart of those majestic peaks. The cabin stood as a solitary sentinel, hidden amidst the trees and draped in a cloak of pure white snow. It seemed like the perfect getaway, promising solitude and serenity. The journey to the cabin was arduous yet exhilarating, as the couple navigated treacherous paths and winding roads to reach their secluded haven. With every turn, anticipation mounted, painting their journey with excitement. Finally, they arrived at their destination, marveling at the cabin that seemed untouched by time. Ethan and Emma settled in, lighting a roaring fire in the hearth to ward off the chilly embrace of winter. The cabin exuded warmth, its wooden interior cocooning them in comfort. A delicious sense of tranquility descended upon them, the outside world becoming a distant memory. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the snow, Ethan felt the call of nature. He decided to venture to the outhouse a short distance away. As he made his way through the snow-laden path, his heart skipped a beat at the sound of footsteps echoing behind him. He glanced over his shoulder, only to be greeted by a wall of silence and an empty forest. Dismissing it as his imagination playing tricks, he continued his journey. However, an unsettling unease gnawed at his senses, quickening his pace on the way back to the cabin. Breathless and slightly bewildered, he reached the cabin's entrance, only to be greeted by an all-encompassing darkness. Panic bubbled within him as he called out for Emma, but his voice was met with the oppressive silence of the cabin. Then a muffled footstep, barely audible against the backdrop of the frozen night, reached his ears. His gaze darted around the inky blackness, searching for a sign for Emma. But the darkness was impenetrable, revealing nothing. His heart pounded like a wild drum, fear coursing through his veins as the footsteps grew louder, closer. He pressed his trembling body against the cold cabin wall, paralyzed by dread. Suddenly, a knock on the door reverberated through the silence, shattering the fragile cocoon of his sanity. Every nerve in his body screamed at him to flee, to escape this nightmare, but his curiosity held him captive. With trembling hands, he cracked open the door, revealing a figure draped in snow, as if the very fabric of winter had woven itself into human form. His breath caught in his throat as he stared into the figure's featureless face, its eyes empty voids. He tried to scream, to summon sound from his constricted vocal cords, but his voice was stolen by the frigid air. The figure, with deliberate yet silent movements, entered the cabin, bringing with it a gust of bone-chilling cold. It moved closer, its presence exuding an otherworldly aura. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest, the rhythm of dread and desperation. Just as the figure closed in, Emma burst into the cabin with a scream that cut through the icy tension like a knife. The figure recoiled, its form wavering before disintegrating like a wisp of smoke. The cabin was plunged into blessed light as the power returned, the momentary darkness now a memory. Emma held Ethan tight, her fear mirroring his own. In the days that followed, the couple packed their belongings in a haste born of terror and fled the cabin, vowing never to return. Yet, as much as they tried to suppress the memories of that fateful night, they lingered, clawing at the edges of their minds. Ethan and Emma sought solace in normalcy, but shadows danced at the edges of their vision, and every rustle of leaves carried whispers of that ghostly encounter. They longed to forget, but the past refused to be buried. Years passed, and the couple had grown accustomed to the mundane rhythm of life until a single letter shattered their fragile peace. The letter was stark and chilling, claiming to be from the very entity they'd encountered in the cabin. It spoke of a grisly crime, of a past that had been erased, a life stolen away. As they read, their breaths hitched, and a sense of inevitability settled upon them. The letter described a desperate plea for justice, a thirst for retribution that had festered in the icy depths of the mountains. The sender claimed to have been the victim, an innocent soul robbed of life and voice, now seeking vengeance. The couple was gripped by a mixture of horror and sorrow. The past they had tried to escape was now demanding their attention, forcing them to face the truth they had long denied. They shared a tacit agreement, an understanding that they needed to confront the ghostly figure and right the wrongs of the past. With trepidation, they returned to the cabin, the journey feeling like a pilgrimage to the heart of their fears. The cabin stood before them, unchanged by time, a stark reminder of the night they had tried to forget. As they stepped inside, the air grew heavy, laden with memories and anticipation. Then, as if conjured by the very depths of their guilt and regret, the figure appeared before them, its form shimmering with a spectral aura. It radiated a sense of fury and longing, its eyes still hollow voids. The couple could feel the weight of its pain, its desperation for retribution. But this time they were not frozen by fear. They stood firm, resolute in their purpose. With tearful eyes, they offered apologies, recognizing the horrors of the past and the pain they had unintentionally perpetuated. They promised to seek justice, to uncover the truth and bring closure to the vengeful spirit. The figure wavered, its spectral form quivering as if caught between dimensions. It seemed to hesitate, to absorb the sincerity of their words. And then, with a final shudder, it dissipated, the cabin filled with a sense of release, of closure long denied. Ethan and Emma left the cabin, the weight of the past finally lifted from their shoulders. As they descended the mountain, a sense of peace settled within them, a quiet assurance that they had done right by the spirit they had encountered. The world seemed a little brighter, the air a little warmer, as they stepped into a future untainted by the horrors of the past. And so they learned that the past, no matter how chilling, could be confronted. That even in the face of the supernatural, facing one's fears and making amends could bring solace to restless souls, bridging the gap between the living and the dead. And as they moved forward, they carried with them the knowledge that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are, in some way, true.